Welcome to Barbell Business and Boobs, where Christy and I discuss navigating everyday life as lifters, business owners, and being a woman in a male-dominated industry. And today we have a quickie episode for you. So, Christy, what are we talking about?
Today, we are going to talk about our most recent competitions and then a little bit about our first competitions. Thought this would be a good one because we just both competed this last week, which might be a little surprising because we're always like, we're retired or we're injured, we're retired. And then Brittany's over here doing a CrossFit contest, and I'm over here shooting to do, doing regional strongman, trying to make it to nationals. So, just us.
Are you ever not injured, and are you ever really retired? That is
Yeah,
the
true.
question.
If you do what we do, you're always injured and you're always joking about retirement. But that's the thing too. It's like as athletes, we just want to keep on going. And like that's what I think was really cool with what you did over the week over I think it was last week doing a CrossFit competition. So like what did you train for that? Like that's so to me that's random.
It was random. So yeah, I'll jump right into it. So back in the day, I always said I would do a CrossFit competition. It was just on the bucket list. I loved that it was versatile, and I thought I'd be pretty good at it. So when Callie Best, Nick Best's wife, which we talked about in the first episode, invited me, I just said, you know what? Fuck it. I'll do a CrossFit competition. So we trained together a few times, and I am dealing with like a knee injury that I need to get worked on, but I just did it because I really wanted to be around people. I don't have a sense of community in Las Vegas with how I train, so I'm always by myself. So I did it for that. And to our surprise, we actually not only ended up winning, we just found out the other day that we actually got first in the nation.
See, like I feel like that is what like you're just you and Kelly are just like great athletes. It's like, oh, like you just randomly on a whim. I feel like you just good at everything. It's
So
awesome.
it was really cool to see because some of them weren't my strong points. Some were, there was a big rowing component and like pressing. So it was kind of everything. Nothing was particularly heavy. It was more just like mental stamina getting through that. But I wasn't sure if I'd be able to turn on the inner competitor in me. But that day, like it almost feels like a drug. It felt so good just to be so focused and so dialed in. And I didn't treat it, I didn't prep for weeks and meditate on it and write down all my goals. I just said I'm going in and I'm gonna literally just crush it that day. And that's what we did. But it felt so good. Like my heart was so happy just to be doing something. And I don't think I'll do another one. It was pretty rough on my body and my joints and just that style of training. It pretty much is kind of random. It's not very methodical at all, CrossFit. So it's a little tough on the body, but had a great experience. And I'm proud to say that, I've now done like very different sports. So good experience. I'll chalk it up on the bucket list.
Right. Well, what was the real quick, what was like the most fun event you had and what was like the most challenging? So I know you're the
The,
single leg squats, like those look crazy, but tell us
yes,
tell us about that.
the single legs, the pistol squats were by far the most challenging for me. I used to be really good at those, but I have this huge Baker cyst in one of my knees I'm dealing with. So I kind of had to alter my technique. Like I was wearing Olympic lifting shoes and leaning far forward and just doing what I could to get through the movement. It was just 30 reps. So I just did 15 and 15 each leg. You could divide it however you want. It was fine. So that was the most challenging. That was part of, we also had like 15 pull-ups and push presses. My favorite event though was the first event, which everyone was joking. Everyone said like they had asthma after. But for me, it was a really good event because it was 30 calories on the rowing machine for time. And so, with my Division 1 rowing background, like I knew that one would be pretty easy. And then immediately after, we had 20 kettlebell swings, Russian style. So when you like go all the
Yeah.
way over your head, and then it was with a kettlebell. I think it was a 16 kilogram or 20 kilogram kettlebell. We had to do 20 box step overs, and then the last was like a kettlebell snatch. So it was kind of random. It was definitely more cardiovascular based, but I always try and include that a little bit in my training. I'm definitely not as in shape as I was a couple years ago for something like that. It's harder to move fast, but it was fun.
Yeah, I think that puts CrossFit like describes it well. Like random cardio challenging.
Yes.
Like it's just hard. Like the couple classes
Yes.
I took, like I totally died. So good for you. That was really fun to see. You were really chill during it. We were texting, and I'm like, you can text me later. You're like, no, I'm chilling. Like we have a lot of time. Like you're like, this is easy for me. You didn't say that, but that's like the vibe I got was like you were chilling, having fun, and it was cool. So,
Yeah,
um,
exactly. How about you?
yeah.
So, what did you? This is day 4 since the competition.
Yeah, I actually feel better than I've ever felt like after a competition. It's super crazy. I was really tired. I competed Saturday. I was really tired Sunday. I'm not sore at all. Like my forearms were sore, which is weird because we didn't do anything grip. Um, and that's really it. And I did give it my all. I really did. And I'm really excited because I did, in my opinion, really well. I hit all my goals of the contest, but there was a girl there that was better than me. Like, she had her best day, and right now she is definitely better than me. And I know I can get there again, but my static strength is still on the come up since my injury. But like, I'm so excited because it's the first contest I have not hurt after. Knock on wood, but it was just regional level weights. Who knows once I get to national and Arnold type of weights, like deadlifts that are with an axle bar in the 400s, like how is that going to affect my back? Um, but in I just learned things I already kind of knew that my static strength needs to come up, but I hit all my marks. It was really fun. I got to do power stairs. The last power stair though, I didn't pull it up high enough. And so you know how it kind of the stair will drag on it and get caught. It got caught, which slowed me down, but also the power stair wood came up. So it moved over like the actual stair, and I had to wait for them to put it back before I put this
Oh,
thing down, which is fine. I already had lost the Arnold bid at that point. So, but I was like pissed because I wanted to get that. And then the last event was sandbags. And I went up there and I was really excited because when I first started this prep, started my last prep, which was like in June or in May. I could barely like pick the 150 sandbag again. And so this was 200 for reps and I was shooting for 6 and I get up there to go start and there's a 220 there. The guys had broke the 200. So you know how strongman is, but usually they tell you beforehand. So I wasn't able to hit my mark and I'm really bummed, but it just gives me more motivation because I should be able to step up to a 220 any day and be able to load it. Um, so yeah, just based on that alone, like I'd already lost Arnold bit at that point, but the first 3 events, I like log for reps. Let's see, log for reps. Um, uh,
from what
what
I
was
saw,
the
you
other one?
killed it.
Yeah, I killed it. So I
Did,
mean,
how much was it? How many reps did you get?
I got 9 reps of the log, and I got what else did I do? I got a really good time the sandbag to shoulder. I just missed it by like a fraction of a second, which always sucks, but that's just how it is.
Hmm.
And deadlifts were okay. I need to work on there, but I still PR'd it, so it was fine. So it was great all around, but like just goes to show too of like we'll talk about this later in injuries podcast, but going from I kind of had to become at peace. I might not ever compete again in hopes of actually being able to wake up every day feeling like I can live my life without pain, and have that like debilitating pain to like, hey, I think I have a chance to compete at a higher level again. But like also, even though I lost, I'm just so proud of my comeback and also just like so thankful that I could do it. So it's like, I know it's not, it's kind of like a lame instead of like, I'm going to win and I'm got to be the winner. Of course I went there to win. I would not have, how hard it is just to travel and compete, especially while you're running a business and balancing all these things. But like, I really cannot be mad. Like, I'm so happy. And hopefully other opportunities will arise later on this year or beginning of next year. So I don't have to wait a whole another year to try to qualify for the Arnold. But I'm going to skip out on nationals and just work on getting stronger and see, maybe I'll do Clash or something because last time we were there, I told Laws I would, but I have to qualify for that. So we will see.
No, I'm so glad that you're not in pain, and the fact that that's not lame at all. It's like I also want to point out that you're in your 30s. This shit was a lot easier when we were in our 20s, and the fact that you took a year off, weren't sure if you were ever going to compete, and then just competed, in the fact that you had someone else that showed up. You're still a competitor. You still belong there.
Oh yeah.
That's amazing. And I also think it's important for anyone listening that likes strongman, what you said about like the sandbag. It was supposed to be 200, but it ended up being 220. I always tell people if they're new to competing, it is to your advantage to embrace and expect at a strongman show for an event not to go as planned.
Hmm.
And the more you can accept that and embrace that, the better you're going to do. Because if you let that interfere with your,
Hmm.
you know, with your state, your mental state, it's going to affect you. So I think the fact that you saw that it was 220 and just went after it, shows that you were there to compete. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the log's never gonna be. The log was like weird this time. You're just kind of be like, whatever. Like it is what it is. But for sure. But we at least have a lot more experience competing now. But like, let's go over our first contest that we ever did because I'm sure
Yes.
that could be interesting. So, what was your first contest?
My first strongman contest was in August of 2007, I believe. It was the Boston Strongest at Total Performance Sports in Boston, and I'm sorry, it was 2010, I believe. I gotta look back, but I was working at a gym and I stumbled upon a Facebook ad and it said Boston Strongest, and it was in like 2 weeks. And I was like, oh, that seems like fun. That seems like something I can do. I was lifting in college and I signed up. And the next thing I know, I was getting bombarded with Facebook messages from all these women saying, like, do you want me to send you some Stone DVDs? Do you know what you're getting into?
Oh my
And I was
God,
like, no,
DVDs.
yeah, DVDs. I was like, no,
I want to
I'm
see
good.
those.
I, I was like, I'm good. I'm just going to do the competition for fun. I have a lifting base. And it was this group called New England Women of Strength. They were just trying to be supportive and not scare me. They were actively trying to grow the sport. So I didn't really know what I was getting into. I went that day, and I remember I have pictures. I'll have to post them after. I was wearing, pink was my favorite color, and it was the middle of August. So I was wearing like pink shorts and this silk material black tank top. You do not wear silk in strongman.
I cannot believe you're wearing silk.
And
That's like that's so Brittany. I feel like you're like
yeah,
I need to be fancy. I need to look good, feel good.
yeah. I didn't know, that I would have. I knew I was gonna have stones on me, but I didn't know small details like that mattered for competing.
Yeah.
So I think there was 8 girls in my novice class, and I ended up winning. And I still remember that the stone was only 150 pounds, and I remember I got 5 reps, and that was like I couldn't believe I got 5 reps at 150 pounds. So
Honestly,
yeah.
that's really impressive for your first show. Like even if it was like today, like that's I feel like that's good. Um, so
So
that's just crazy.
yeah, it was just one of those things though. Like I just knew that day that I loved it. I just fell in love. So was just coming from. I was actually still a rower. It was my junior year of college. It was the summer, so I could
Mm.
compete in something else. And I just knew once I graduated, like that was my thing. Like I feel like I finally fell in love with the sport again because I didn't really like rowing. I was just doing it for a scholarship and to get through college. But I loved track, and I felt the same passion and love for it. And I loved all the women pushing each other. And I just thought it was badass, and I felt like I could be really good at it. So that was my first contest experience, and yeah, I never looked back.
It's so funny. I feel like there are a lot of people in there like that just show up to their first strongman contest and I'm like, I've never lifted a log before, and people will just show them. So that's like really cool. It's cool that like you were just like, hey, I'm gonna try this new thing and weren't afraid to do it.
honestly, honestly, Christy, I think it was easier a couple years ago before social media existed and before there were, so many coaches because I think there was less pressure and less anxiety to compete and people were just like, okay, if I think I'm strong, I can go ahead and do this.
Right. Yeah, you don't see that there all the videos of people succeeding or failing. So you're just like, I don't know, this is a really hard feat of strength, and if I do it, I do it. If I can't, I tried. So that's totally true. Because by the time that I started Strongman, it was already growing on social media. It was 2019 is when I did my first Strongman contest. So like that's really recent. But I kind of want to go over my first powerlifting contest because that was like my first like contest ever. Like I was not competitive growing up. I didn't do sports. Like of course I was like maybe in like volleyball tournaments, some soccer tournaments when I was younger. I did dance competitions in high school, but that's different too because it's like you're with a team and you're just one of the people doing the dance, you know?
Hmm.
And I didn't like care too much about winning. I was kind of just like, when we get this over with, I'm kind of nervous to be on stage and then like when we have fun with my friends. So um, it was in 2014. I had already been lifting for 2 years and I was became a personal trainer. I was really into fitness and I lost 30 pounds and I was like a tiny 135 girl at that point. And I was getting bored and I went to a powerlifting meet that some friends were doing, and you know, it was like a few girls there. I'm like, they're like, you know, probably like screaming, looking really powerful, and I was like, I want to do that. So I took like 2 months of prepping, um, you know, just kind of doing my own thing, and you know, no coach, no nothing. And then me and my friend Sarah did the APF meet in Illinois. It was right outside Chicago. I was living in Chicago at the time. And, you know, no coach, no nothing, which is fine. A lot of people do that now. Like, you're not expected to have a coach. But, you know, I cut weight because at that point I had like gotten up to like maybe like 147 and I had to do like, or no, I don't even remember what I did, but I think I cut weight for some reason. And then,
For some reason.
I hit my openers in the warm up room, of course, which is like a
Oh
rookie mistake. And then, but, and I was so nervous. I woke up that morning with like a panic attack.
no. Aw.
We're very different. You're like an athlete, like all like from like birth, and I'm like, this is my first time being under this kind of pressure. So panic attack when I woke up in the morning. But obviously, I had a lot of fun, and I had a lot of people like try to help me out during the day. Like a lot of other coaches, a lot of people. You know, I had no idea what I was doing, but it was super fun. And I think I got first in my weight class. I think I was like the only one in my class, but I was like addicted after that. Like I, you know, powerlifted for years after that, before I started strongman. But it's just funny because was so random. Like you only had like a 2 week prep, or like you signed up. You like basically were on a whim. I had like at least maybe like 6 to 8 weeks, but it was pretty much just like, well, I guess I'll try this, you know.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I mean, super random that I kind of fell into that path, but um, no crazy story there besides like I made every, you know, rookie mistake on that day, really. But
Hey, that's how you gotta, yeah, you
well,
just
that's the thing
gotta get
too.
experience under
Yeah.
your belt.
Yeah, you have to experience, like you have to learn those lessons and eventually your experience and your strength will kind of catch up to each other and then magic will happen. And then you can just show
Hmm.
up at a CrossFit competition and just win.
So do you get less nervous now when you're competing versus like your first powerlifting meet, or does it just depend? Because you said
Yeah,
you weren't nervous.
yeah. Like there was a while there that I still would wake up kind of like with a lot of adrenaline in the morning and really have to calm myself down. I don't take caffeine usually the day of my competition until like later in the day. I get really like just hyped up on my own, and I'll just wake up like you know kind of my heart fluttering. But the last few competitions, like, you know, I get excited, but this competition, I wasn't nervous at all. You know, you kind of get, fight a little bit of feelings of like, okay, like I can't fuck up the log. Like, what if I forget how to press a log when it's like really lightweight, you know, like,
Hmm.
but barely. I mean, I don't know why. It's not because I don't care as much. It's just because it's not, the more you do, the less pressure you put on each one.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No,
Even though this one was
yeah,
high stakes, I wasn't that nervous.
good. So did you already go back to the drawing board? Do you kind of know what's next? What's your
Yeah,
training look like?
that's like the hard thing too. I really wanted to have like the Arnold as my training North Star for this year
Yeah,
and
I
be able to
know.
skip nationals. And because I know I need to get stronger, I do know, but I know it's possible now. So I really wanted to take time from now until March to get really strong, and I knew I could be ready. Unfortunately, I only qualified for nationals, and I can't make that this year. And so now I just don't know. But the goal is obviously get stronger, and when there is a competition that I can't make OSG this year either. So my options really are Clash, but I have to figure out how to qualify for that and if that fits in my schedule. But I also don't want to rush to anything. So I really don't know. I just feel like there are a lot more opportunities out there nowadays, but I might just have to wait a little bit. But right now, my goal is to get a stronger deadlift and a stronger sandbags and also cut weight. I think I'm a 160 girl at heart.
Okay,
So
that's exciting.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so that's mostly my goal. What about you? All right, so no more CrossFit competitions on the horizon, but anything else you're gonna dip your toe in or
No more
do?
CrossFit competitions. No, I was thinking about, this isn't really a sport, but doing some skydiving or something. So I've
Oh
done
my
it
God, that is one thing I will never do.
once.
I say that maybe I would. I could never do that.
I've done it once before and I liked it. It's pretty popular out here, and I've met some people that are actually instructors. But actually, no, my goal is, so I'm going home in a couple of days, and then my travel schedule kind of stops a little bit. Like I have some travel here and there, but I actually have a goal of getting back on a training program because for the past like 2 months, I've just been kind of exercising and like I'll plan my day and I'll have a general idea of what I'm doing. But I know that's not smart. Like coming from someone that programs all day, like even if you don't have an active goal, it's smarter to just progressive overload in some ways. So but it's also really hard to program for yourself. So that's my goal when I get back in August is to actually have like a structured routine and then kind of just see what comes my way. I would love honestly like more than anything to compete in strongman again, but just where I'm at this stage in my life with needing surgeries and pain and it not being totally accessible out here, I don't think it's in the cards right now. I won't say forever, but right now. I would love. I'm
Yeah.
totally gonna do a master's show in a couple of years. I have like 9 years, but I'm totally gonna do one.
Yeah, how fun would it be if we could compete in the same show?
We should. Oh, we should actually make that a goal. Do you want
Let's
to
make
just
it a
say we're gonna?
goal. I would
Do you
love
want to
to
just
do
say
it.
for our 40th birthday?
There we go.
All right.
Perfect.
Future masters
I
right
got a
here.
long time to train, but
Exactly. Exactly. So,
okay. Well, we'll
all
do
right. Well,
it.
that was a quickie episode. We're almost at the 24-minute mark. I will leave the episode with I have a strongman contest walkthrough that I think can be applied to any sport. Basically, just gives some meditation techniques as well as mental movies, which Christy, I know you learned mental movies. We actually had the same coach for a small period of time,
Hmm.
Josh Bryant. So I'll drop that in the comments. And if anyone has any questions, they can always reach out to you or me.
Awesome.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Bye.